Let's welcome in their GM, Don Waddell, the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. We put up the board of your additions and subtractions. There were only 3 names on it. Take us through your thought process in making those decisions.
Well, as you guys were saying, we're very happy with our team, and we did not want to distract and subtract from our hockey club. And, Rod and I talked a lot about what we felt that we really needed to add. And, with Shane adding, a power play specialist, our power play is 23rd in the league. I think we're 16th of the 16 playoff teams that currently sit there. We really felt that, we needed to try to do something to give us another guy in the blue line. Brent Burns does a great job for us on one of the units, and adding the Ghost on the other one, we really feel like is something that we needed. And we started talking about this deal probably 6-7 weeks ago, and then unfortunately the player got hurt. And when he came back, we started re-engaging with Bill Armstrong to get this deal done. With Jesse, we know this player well. He played in the World Junior with Aho. As you know, we have quite a few Finn players on our team that know him, and he's a big body. Another guy that we talked to Kenny Holland for the last year about. We wanted to get a little bigger, get some more speed on the wing, and Jesse fit that profile very well. And Kenny had said all along that he's not going to trade him unless he gets into a cap situation, and which he did when he wanted to go out and get a defenseman. So he called me that morning and said, "Hey, do you still want Jesse?" And I said, yes. And we gave him a list of prospects, and the deal was done very quickly.
Well, it's nice when the deals get done very quickly, but it's quickly in that moment, right? But you talked about it. It was a year in the works, and you finally were able to make a move there. I want to ask you about, your forward group. When we talk about them here, again, we're on the outside. We just talked about your team. This is a really, really good team. You're in first place. The second center spot, you've got guys that are kind of in and out of that role. Was that an area that you looked at, but you just couldn't find someone that made sense for you?
If you'd asked me that question probably 3 months ago, I'd have said we've been looking for it. But, let's face, KK started off and had a slow start to the year. Roddy moved to the 4th line where he really played well, built up some confidence. Since he's been back playing in the top 6 group there, I think the last 20 games, he's got quite a few points. But he does more than that for us. He's, up front, we're not as big team up front, with Aho and Jarvis and Turbo. So, we felt that what he gives us down the middle there, he plays very hard. He finishes his checks. He's hard to play against. That we got very comfortable that he can play in that role. And, we got a lot of depth there. Stastny's obviously been around, got great playoff experience. He's been in that role and can jump up there if we need him to be. But, if you watch the way we play, Roddy plays 4 lines pretty much not equally, but our 4th line, so-called 4th line, has been very effective for us with Stastny down there with Nason and Stepan. So, we have to win as a group. We're not going to have anybody that's going to score 50 goals on our team. Not yet. We might eventually, but not yet. So we got to do this as a group, and we really felt that we liked the group up front here, and if we could just add a little bit to it, that was something that we wanted to do, and we did. And then, like I said, adding Ghost on the power play is, I think, going to be a good move that's going to pay off for us.
Can you tell us, Don, this is a team that's been a very good team for a while, plays the right way, very well built as far as their depth, and but I've opened my eyes to a couple players on the team, and Marty Necas and Seth Jarvis, who, man, these guys have really taken that next step. And from your perspective, seeing them every day, can you take us through the evolution of those players and where they're at?
Yeah, for sure. Let's start with Marty. When he came over, we kept him in Charlotte. He had a good year there, but he played 27 playoff games here. We won the Calder Cup there, and I think that was a huge stepping stone for him. In his first year in the league, he really had a very, very good season. And, people say last year he had a down season. Didn't get as many points as he did the first year. But we recognize a couple things. One is we have to build up his confidence with this player, and he took some of the he took some of the faults himself and said, I need to be better also. And so we had a lot of talks through the summer with him and his representation about what he's going to need to do to take the next step. And, we signed him to a 2-year bridge deal. And how he came to camp this year was exciting because he came in the best shape he's ever been in. And right from the first day of training camp, he's been a player that wants to prove that he's going to be one of the best players, not only on our team, but in the league. So very happy with his step. You know, Jarvis had a great first year. Unfortunately, lost him in the playoffs there against the Rangers. Started a little slow this year. Went through a little slump there, but even though he wasn't scoring, he does so many things for us. You know, he's not a big player, but you would never know that on the ice because he goes to the dirty spots of the ice as good as anybody. You know, everybody says he gets hit too much. Well, he gets hit too much because he's in spots to get hit because he's trying to get the puck. You know, he's a puck first guy. You know, he's trying to get the puck before he's trying to eliminate a body. So I think he's really, this last 20 games has really been one of our most effective forwards. And, you know, he's still a young player that's going to continue to grow. Both players are still young. So that's the exciting thing about where we're going with our franchise and why we didn't want to trade any of our young players is we think the future in front of them is even brighter.
Following Rupper's theme of evolution, going back to the IHL Flint Spirits and the start of your career all the way forward to now, one thing EJ has said about Kyle Dubas is he's getting better. When you gain experience in that role as a decision maker for an NHL club, you get better. How have you gotten better over the course of your career?
Oh, 100%. If you don't learn something new every day, you're not doing your job. So, you know, you got to continue to be on top of things. But I think it comes from, you know, when I was in the minors in the IHL, you know, it's a one-man show. You know, some years I was a coach and the GM. So when I bounce things off the GM and didn't get the right answer, I'd go to the coach. And if I didn't get the right answers, I didn't know what to do because I was both people. But you learn as you go through, you know, anytime you make a decision, you don't make a decision to hurt anybody. You make a decision what's best for the organization. And, you know, nowadays, you know, our staffs have gotten a lot bigger. Analytics plays a big part in it. These are things you never had. These are tools we never had even 15 years ago. So I think, you know, you learn on the job. You know, I've been through many trade deadlines, made some big trades at the deadline and traded some good players away at the deadline. And you try, you know, you analyze all that. You know, I'll sit through this next while bit of time here and see what, really take a look at all the talks we had about different players, the moves we made, and you know, you try to give yourself self-assessments where you can learn from it. So I think every day on this job, I don't care how many years you've been doing it, there's always something new you can pick up.
Donnie, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for our group here at NHL Network for the hospitality you guys showed us down there at the Stadium Series. Unbelievable. You guys just knocked it out of the park. It was a great week and a great weekend there, so congratulations to your organization on that. I wanted to make sure I got that in. But the one question I have in terms of the deadline, was there anything in all your conversations, was there anything close that you thought might happen that just didn't?
No, not really. You know, it's no secret that we were on a bigger player earlier in the week that we didn't get. You know, but the way I look at those deals is you can only do what you can do. You know, I don't know what other teams are going to offer. You know, you learn after a trade. You don't know that while you're trying to build your prospects and picks and that for a trade. So, you know, we felt we put our best foot forward. We extended all the assets that we were going to do, and we didn't win it. So you move on. You know, you don't begrudge yourself. You don't get mad that you didn't do something else because we talked about it at great length, and we went as far as we felt we could do. And now we didn't get that player, so we move on to the next. So that was about the only thing that we can really say. You know, we dabbled with a few other things this week, and you know, everybody says about cap space. You know, we got $2.6 million, but we wanted to make sure we had some cap space left because certainly we want to give Jack Drury some games here as we go down the stretch. And if we want to rest one of our goalies and bring up Kochkov, you need cap space. Yeah. Even though your roster is unlimited right now, you got to be cap compliant until you get to the playoffs. So, you know, we wanted to make sure we left ourselves some room to be able to make the moves that we need to make sure, you know, we want to prepare our team as best we can for the postseason without giving up something here in the regular season. So, you know, we talked about our goalies not playing back-to-back games. We want to make sure, you know, after 82 games, we want to be in the best health that we possibly can as we enter postseason.
So, Don, we started this off saying that there's, before we even spoke to you, that there's certain teams, you guys, Tampa Bay Lightning, that that aren't getting the headlines right now as far as the moves and the craziness we've seen in the last few weeks. You've been around this for a long time, doing this for a long time. Was there ever a time where a younger, less experienced Don Waddell would have, when you're seeing all the other teams looking like the Globetrotters and making 15 trade in your division, in your conference, was there ever a day where you would have been like, I got to do something? And how hard is that to fight?
Yeah, and probably in my younger days, you paid a lot more attention to what everybody was doing around you, and you felt like I got to keep up with the Joneses, and I think that comes from the experience that we talk about. I know the teams have made deals, and I'll go through them all eventually because I don't even know where everybody ended up today. But I don't react nowadays to what other teams do. I understand why teams make moves. Everybody's got different philosophies, different demands from ownership. Everything goes into that. So, what they did is great for them. I just know what's good for us and the Hurricanes and the way we look at things. So, but certainly, I remember back in the Atlanta days when I traded for Keith Tkachuk one year, which was a good trade for us. The only division we ever won that year, but it was tough, watching what everybody else is doing. And I pulled the trigger at the 11th hour with Larry Plow as the GM of St. Louis to bring in Tkachuk. So, sometimes you do get caught up, but I'd say those days are behind me.
The Joneses are chasing you. You're in first place.
That's right.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.